Apologies in advance for anybody who actually had to watch MrPokke play Genshin Impact for 2 weeks while I was gone. Feel really bad about that. So sorry. I bet that was horrible. Anyways, box 2 is our son now. We're moving forward.
Subscribe!
Hey guys, MrPokke here, back with another video. Today, I will give my first ever Genshin Impact review after playing this game since the 14th of March, 2024. If you guys don't want to listen to the entire yap, then this is my statement. I really like Genshin Impact. So I'm just gonna let the 8 comments flow through the comment section real quick. So now that that is out of the way, that was the TLDR, right? That was a TLDR. Now here is the yap version. First things first, why I really like Genshin Impact. I think one of the main reasons, ironically or unironically, is because of Tectone. Because Tectone has given me this extremely low expectations for Genshin Impact. Not just Tectone, but a lot of other community members, comments, social media, a lot of people say Genshin is just a completely dogshit game. It's a waste of time. Nobody will enjoy playing it, all that kind of stuff. And I'm glad that I had this preconceived notion regarding Genshin Impact, because I was really thinking to myself, okay, this game is just fucking boring and I'm not gonna enjoy this. Turns out I was pleasantly surprised. You know the saying, right? Like, the lower you set your expectations, the higher the chance of you getting pleasant surprise will be there for you. Right? So kind of worked in a similar function. Let's just break down exactly my journey in Genshin Impact and what I found about this game. The first thing first about Genshin Impact, and I guess probably the most important criteria for Genshin Impact as the game itself, is the story. I do sincerely believe that Genshin Impact story is one of, if not the most important factors when it comes to the game itself. I don't think Genshin Impact is meant to be like a endgame heavy, combat focus, zero cycle, clear a abyss floor in 30 seconds. I think the way I look at Genshin Impact, it is a very story driven, almost like a visual novel-ish kind of game. It is not even like a, okay, this might be crazy, but I don't really think Genshin Impact's main selling point was the open world. It is a very big part, yes, but I think the reason why people like Genshin, or rather at least why I like Genshin, was the world building of the lore, the characters, and everything that is revolving around Genshin Impact. It's not about the exploration, it's not about finding the chest, it is not about killing the mobs. It is just like this it almost feels like a story, like a journey that you took with you when you first landed into Mondstadt, and then you go to Liyue, Inazuma, and Sumeru. Which I guess a little bit of a update is that my current account, I just finished Sumeru. Tomorrow I will very likely be starting my Fontaine journey. I have not done a shit ton of stuff because I'm mainly focused on this. This is my main focus, the Archon quest. And even for Archon quest, I didn't even finish it that much because holy shit, I'm gonna keep it a buck. There's a lot of yap. There is a lot of yap, especially at the start of Genshin Impact. I think at the start of Genshin Impact is where I felt that it didn't really drew my interest that much up until Sumeru. Sumeru was where I felt Genshin Impact story was really like, oh my god, it's insane. It was long, a whole ass 6 chapters, but really the only chapter that I felt was maybe a bit too unbearable, maybe chapter 1. I think chapter 2 to 6, it didn't feel like I hate this game. Minus, and I'm gonna talk about this a little bit later, the Paimon portions. I think the Paimon criticisms that Genshin Impact has, they are pretty valid. But that is a portion for like a later part of the video, right? So I want to first log in on the story. If you guys have seen my recent playthrough for Sumeru, specifically Sumeru Part 3, I think, I may or may not have shed a tear. And it's crazy because the scene, it wasn't even that sad. It was just a culmination of all the things up until that point. And all that happened was basically Nilo doing a dance. That's it. And then Dunyazard came up, rise up from a grave. And the best part, Dunyazard is not even dead. She's not even dead. She's fine. But I don't know why, but like, it just all fell into place. The music. And this probably would not have happened if you were just like skipping through everything. Or like not really immersing yourself in the moment that at least I have tried to, right? Because I say it over and over again, I feel that I am a neutral streamer. So I really wanted to give this the best shot I have. And that I did. And the build up out to that point, because at that point I was fully convinced that Dunya's art was gone, right? But like the flashback, the dance, the music, and then like the camera back to yeah, it was very, very good. I can't speak, like I'll be honest, I can't speak about Mondstadt and Li Yue that much because that happened like almost like 5 months ago and I can't really remember that much anymore. But I do know that if I can't remember a story that much, it means the story was probably not that great. Like for example, I watched Breaking Bad, I watched Better Call Saul, I watched a drama like years ago. I can still remember the story. I feel that Sumeru is gonna be a story that I will probably remember for a while. I don't remember what happened in Mondstadt and Li Yue anymore. I kind of remember what happened in Inazuma, kind of. Yai Miko, Raiden Shogun, the dystopian laws, seeking perfection, all that kind of stuff. But still, Sumeru was a story that really, really sold me. From a perspective of playing Genshin the way I'm playing it, it ticks the right boxes for me. Right? Which brings me to the second point of Genshin Impact. The gameplay of Genshin Impact itself. I feel that this is subjective, right? This is not objective. I don't want to hear proof. There's no proof. This is a subjective take. I feel that a lot of people end up hating Genshin Impact because they are still playing Genshin Impact for almost 4 years. And by that point, I think if you have played a game for almost 4 years, and to be fair, this is a live service gacha game, you're probably logging in every single day, do your dailies, all that kind of stuff, you may or may not feel the burnout. The way I look at Genshin Impact's gameplay, I look at it from the lens of a, like I mentioned just now, like it's almost like a visual novel. Almost. It's like a visual novel or like any other like AAA games, like a story game, where I'm just gonna pick up one day, and if I don't want to continue, I just don't continue. And then if I want to continue the story, like for example, I didn't play Genshin for like, I think 3 months. And then recently I just said, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna do Sumeru. Then just hop back in again. I don't have this feeling of attachment where I need to play this game every single day. And I will be completely honest, if they ever reach a point where there's nothing left to offer for me in Genshin Impact anymore, then I wouldn't have any will and force myself to continue playing this game. Somewhat similar to, like, if you finish a game of Sekiro, or you finish a game of Elden Ring, or you finish a game of any of these like story-driven games where like you kind of reach the end, I'm not gonna force myself to play another round and another round and another round. Like, I'm not gonna play the fucking Zero Cycle Millennia, Zero Cycle Ishin, or what. Like, the main story, the main purpose of the game is that it has really given me this sense of enjoyment and satisfaction at that point of time. Once again, subjective take. But I think there is a reason why Genshin was so widely popular in COVID when it first launched. If it was truly a dog shit game, there is no way in God's green earth it would have taken off the day it is today. But it's just now it came to a sentiment where this game has been coming out for a while and the pace is pretty slow. And let's just be real, there probably isn't that much of an endgame content, which I'll talk about later on as well. I'm not sure if it's sunk cost fallacy or like not being able to let go. But I think if a game with well over, I think at this point has more than 200 hours of playtime from like start to the end, I would say, and considering that this is quote unquote a free game, if you don't put for the waifus and the boobas, I would say that it is pretty good. It's pretty good. At this point, I know a lot of you guys are typing in the keyboard right now. Oh, MrPokke has gem gods. MrPokke has his executive account managers. Oh my god, he's basically not even, you can't even say this. I absolutely agree with you. I absolutely agree with you 1000%. This is not a statement where I am invalidating a player's feelings towards Genshin Impact, but this is from my personal experience. And it is 1000% accurate that I am extremely fortunate to be in a position where I am today, where I do have gem gods and people managing my account. Okay, but to be fair, my managers are not cooking. That aside, right? That aside. Is it really that bad if players who are feeling burnt out from the game step away from the game after 3.5 to 4 years, with or without executive account managers? So that is like my question towards that, right? Because if you have people playing the game for you and doing the exploration and all that kind of stuff, it gets a lot easier. But if the reason why you hate Genshin Impact is because this game is just nothing left to offer, and you've beaten everything, you've done everything, you've easily Spiral Abyss 12 and all that, is it really that bad to just take a step back? I'm not a Genshin Impact main. In fact, I wouldn't even say I'm a main for ending. Right? I like to play games that feels fun at that moment. The moment right now is Genshin Impact for me. Once I'm done with Fontaine, once I'm done with when Nana comes out, all that kind of stuff, I wouldn't say that I hate Genshin Impact because there's nothing to do. I would say that I enjoyed Genshin Impact because the things that I've done, they were fun. So that is like my quote-unquote rebuttal as to whether you need to play the game every single day. Right? Cool. So yeah, that is that for the gameplay. The Paimon problem. I'll be honest. I think Paimon, she is pretty cute for the first 5 seconds. I think the way they inserted Paimon into the storytelling of the game, which is kind of, you know, the same ballpark as to Genshin Impact story, it can be a little bit excessive. What I mean by this is sometimes, or not sometimes, most of the time, where Paimon is there, and if you were actually paying attention to the story, Paimon feels like an ad. Paimon basically feels like an ad that pops up every now and then. If you were not paying attention to the story, you might not even find Paimon that annoying. Because what Paimon does, or at least what I've noticed, up until Sumeru, is that she recaps everything that has been said in the past 5 minutes. So if you have like ADHD or like brain rot and you can't focus up for the past 5 minutes, and the Paimon's like, oh, by the way, are we gonna do this? So people that didn't focus, Paimon helps you do this recap quite nicely. Alright. But when I actually logged in for Sumeru, I felt that whenever Paimon pops up, it was just like low-key ruining the pacing for me. Or like she would sometimes ask like the stupidest questions. I'm not sure which exact example is like, for example, I think Alhatium said something, and then Paimon was like, oh, are you gonna do this? And then Alhatium continues on afterwards. Like literally the difference with or without Paimon at that instance is zero. There's zero difference. Like you take out Paimon, you don't take out Paimon, Alhatium was gonna explain the plan literally afterwards. So that was like an example that I felt. But I think there was one chapter, which was a very recent chapter, where I think I really liked how they did for Paimon, was Chapter 3, Act 6 for Sumeru. The quest with the wife and the mushrooms. The mushroom quest, right? The mushroom quest. Where Paimon appeared for like the first 5 minutes, and then she dipped. And then afterwards, towards the end, she came back. I think that was actually really well done. It made me actually appreciate Paimon a little bit more. Because she shows that she's like this fairy that cares for you, that wants to like help the traveler, all that kind of stuff. But then when you're logged in and you're doing the quest, she's not there interrupting every 5 seconds, right? I think the way they did 3v6 was really good. The end game loop. As far as I'm concerned, this is not my area of expertise. My account is really far from a proper attempt at Spiral Abyss 12. Probably near Zayok's account review one day. I have the units, but I lack the, not just like artifacts and whatever. I also lack the fundamental understanding of like proper rotation, skills, dash, dodge, whatever. I literally have skill issue in Genshin Impact. But I never felt that this was a problem for me, especially when I was playing the story, because I destroyed the story. And this kind of reminds me of a similar landscape in Xenozone Zero, where the story mode content is very easy, right? Even though Xenozone or even Watering Waves, right? The story side of the game is very easy. It doesn't force me as a player to go ahead and, you know what, let me learn this. Let me learn what the fuck is Arlecchino CE. When do I use the ultimate? When do I use Burnett? Well, what do I build on Nilo, right? What's Bloom? What's the difference between Bloom and Paimon? Like, it never incentivized me to go ahead and learn all these things. Because all I have to do is literally just spam. I quite literally spam buttons in story bosses, and it's done. Alright, so the gap from there to Spiral Abyss floor 12 is definitely very noticeable. Not only are you getting hit for a lot more damage, you also need to deal a lot of damage to deal with the mobs. Maybe I'm under-leveled, right? Maybe I'm under-leveled all that comes out, or maybe I just do it. But the point still stands, right? I don't think Genshin is a baby easy game unless you have been playing this game for the past 3.5 years. I think I've been playing this Genshin Impact for like 3.5 to almost 4 years. And everything you have is like maxed out. You're definitely gonna find this as a baby game, right? But from a perspective of someone that joined in from a very, very, very casual, I am probably the core definition of a casual, because I legit log in, pull for a bobas, play story, and I bounce. Because of this, my fundamental game knowledge and like rotation and everything, it just does not exist. You could disagree. You could agree or disagree. But that is my personal experience playing Sparrow's Floor Shop. And I haven't even tried the brand new Imaginary Theater, whatever the fuck, right? But yeah. I'm not sure how big is this population. I'm not exactly sure like who actually plays Genshin Impact like in 2024 and just play the game for like 5 months like me, because this is like a 5-month overcount, right? So maybe I'm in the very, very small minority here. Maybe the casual player base, even the real casuals that play this game for as much as myself, maybe majority of them started from like day one. So their account is really like fully maxed out with like everything done, relics done, so they can still like close an eye and deal with Sparrows, right? So that could also be a potential. But at least speaking from my side, I don't think Genshin Impact's endgame is as easy as what it makes out to be, right? Music. I think this is a very short point, and I think this could be close to an objective point. I think Genshin Impact's music across every single game that I've played, from Honkai, Starbucks, Zenless, Zone 01, Waves, even previous gacha games, or even every single game that I've played, I don't think there's been a game that outperformed Genshin Impact's music. I think they have completely excelled far above and beyond when it came to the music department. From the mountains of Liye, from I put a chi, or from there to Raiden Shogun's team, to Sumeru. I haven't even heard Fontaine's team yet, so only God knows what was something. Like every single region, they have came up with bangers that until this day is just absolutely insane. Alright, so I don't think this point needs to be said. I really don't think there can ever be. Okay, maybe there can be a game in the future that can rival Genshin Impact's music, but for now, I have not found a single gacha game, and arguably even some AAA games that can rival Genshin Impact's music. It is absolutely unbelievable, and yep, crazy. The design of Genshin Impact's world and characters. First of all, this game is too fucking big. Huge shout out to my executive account managers for exploring for me, because there is no way in God's green earth I will ever do this. It is not feasible. It is not possible. It is quite literally impossible for me as a streamer to explore every inch, nook, and cranny of the world of Teyvat. It is absolutely too fucking big, right? So huge shout out to the executive account managers. Absolutely insane, right? So the world is absolutely massive, and to be completely frank, I feel that I'm not in a qualified position to truly talk about the design of the worlds, because like I mentioned just now, majority of it is done by my executive account managers. So I would say that my impressions for the world is legit just like surface level. So if I were to go to Inazuma and the place becomes like Japanese team, or if I were to go to like a random island in Liyue where it becomes like China, oh my god, insane music. Like every single region's music is just like, okay, anyways, yeah, I think world building for Genshin Impact, at least for me on the surface level, it fits with the theme that they're going for. Like they hyped up Inazuma to be like Japan, Liyue to be like China, Sumeru to be like, is Sumeru meant to be like Middle East or like India? I'm not exactly sure. Then Fontaine is probably Europe, and then when Nelan comes out, it's like what? Africa-ish? Is Nelan supposed to be Africa? But I feel that so far, every single region, they distinctively hit their themes, the environment, and not just in terms of like the visuals, right? I think also, maybe not even just partly, but by a very large portion, carried by their music. Every single region's music is just like, every single region's role, very... You can tell you're basically in a different region, and it immersifies you, or at least for myself, as a consumer, right? So that's a little bit. For the character side of things, I'm gonna keep it a buck. There's way too many. There's way too many characters, and I would say that 90% of the time, I'm playing with the same 4 units. For now, the flavor of the month is gonna be the Super Break. The Bloom team. At least for me, alright. So this is my flavor of the month. Before this, I played with Arlecchino. I played with Chloe a little bit here and there. I think just because they're both Gyats, so they were pretty good. I would say that a lot of these other characters, I unfortunately do not have the luxury of like exploring with their kids, right? Like who knows? Like maybe Chi is really, really good. Maybe Jean is really, really good. But because the amount of resources I have is just not really enough to truly raise them up, I don't really have the opportunity or the luxury to play with them enough. They all look and feel very, very distinct. Like some of the 4 stars are like, you know, some of the 4 stars are really, really good. So there's that, right? I think I can kind of compare this with like Zenless, Honkai, like all of their 4-star designs, they all turn out pretty good. Then they are, you know, instantly when you see March 7th, it's gonna be March 7th. Instantly when you see NB, it's NB, right? And like, it's very, very distinct. And it almost feels as if like they're just like a different cast. Instead of like a inferior character compared to a lot of stuff. Unless you're talking about like, maybe like the meta nerds, when you talk about DPS, and maybe you don't really care about the 4-star DPS. But that's on another topic, right? So, I am pretty satisfied with the character designs. But one thing I mentioned about the character design, which is gonna be leading us to our next point, is a resource management in Genshin Impact. I have been playing this game for around 5 months. Okay, I'm not exactly free to play. Because of the gem codes, I'm not exactly free to play. Okay, let's just say I'm a light spender, right? Okay, chat, let's just say I'm a light spender, right? I don't ever do stamina refreshes. So I'm pretty much a light spender. Right? Cool. I would say that from this perspective, not a complete free to play. It takes quite a bit to get the characters up to par for Spiral Abyss. For story, I think you are completely G. Like legit, like when I'm playing story, I was never ever thinking, oh my god, my characters are too weak, because it's done, right? So if you're like a hyper casual that only plays for story, I think you're good. But when it comes to like this kind of like Spiral 12 or even like Imaginary, I have no idea what the hell is Imaginary Theater. I haven't tried it, but apparently it's like you can't even play some certain elements. So you need to build like a whole new team, all that kind of stuff. So I can imagine the resource being a little bit tight. Even up till now, I have not gotten a single level 90 units, which apparently is supposed to be this way. You're not supposed to level to level 90. I have artifacts for some of my characters, right? Some of my characters, they have pretty decent artifacts. Not too crazy, but not too shabby for some of my characters. But I would say that out of 1, 2, 3, 4, how many characters do I have? A billion? Probably only like 10% of these characters are like more or less good to go for endgame content. Maybe 15%, 10 to 15 characters. I would say that I don't even have like a full team of 8. As of this current moment. Like a full team of 8 that can tackle Spiral Abyss 12, I think it's not there yet. Not quite there yet. I would appreciate it if there was more resources, especially like this game has been out for 3.5 years, right? Wouldn't it incentivize new players more if they just straight up like, I don't know, like double the resources drop? Because think about it this way, the veterans that play Genshin Impact since day 1, they won't give a fuck. Because everything they have in their team is raised. Whereas for new players, even if they double the resources now, it just gives them like so much more access to explore all these new units, which is what I would want to try and do if I was a new player. I want to try and play all these. I want to play Dailuk. I want to play Yang Fei. I want to play Kirara. I want to play Huan Huan, right? I want to play all these, but I literally have nothing to raise. I have a fucking C6 Faruzan. Yeah, and I have a C6 Black Swan, but I can't even use them because I just don't have enough resources to raise them, right? So if Genshin Impact can just increase the amount of resources given, for at least for like tracers, Moras, unit experience, all that kind of stuff, that would be really, really good. And I think it would drastically improve like a new player experience. My future outlook for Genshin Impact, I would say, oh, happy music, very happy. I don't see myself dedicating a very significant portion of my time into Genshin Impact and playing this like quote-unquote main game for me. It's like once you finish reading a book, would you read the same book over and over and over and over again? I got a bad analogy. After finishing the Avengers series up until Endgame, Are you still interested in all of the spin-offs from Marvel? For me personally, Endgame was the end for me. Endgame was the end for me when it came to the Marvel cinema. Everything else they cooked out after that, I didn't bother catching up. Somewhat similar can be explained for Genshin Impact as well. I feel like the Endgame version, the Endgame variant for Genshin is basically how they continue the story and how they build the characters and the world building and the music. That is like my quote-unquote endgame. I wouldn't bother delving into min-maxing my rotations, praying for an endgame content, praying for a difficult boss, praying for a whatever the fuck. They are like the spin-offs. So once I am done with what I came out to do, I will walk away the cinema with feeling satisfied. When new region comes out, I'll definitely play it. Hopefully I can, and I can't even believe I'm saying this, hopefully I can catch up to Genshin Impact's lore. Oh my god, that's crazy. Imagine MrPokke caring about lore. That is absolutely crazy. I actually do care about lore. Yeah, that's crazy, right? One very, very prominent example for a game that I really, really care a lot about lore. Elden Ring's lore. StarCraft lore. And a teeny weeny bit of a Monster Hunter lore. So for games that I, truly enjoy the story and the world building and then the development for the characters and then this music is so nice. I do get quite invested in it. So yeah, hopefully I get caught up with all of Genshin's lore. I'm probably never gonna do all that. I'll probably end up watching YouTube videos. Maybe not even on stream. I'll just do it off stream and just see what's up. I don't care if at all about the meta, like getting a Nervlet or a Kazuha. But hopefully the designs from Genshin Impact can appeal to me, even as we are playing through the story in the future, right? So like Netland or the whatever future regions. Hopefully we get like an underwater region one day. That would be pretty cool. Right? That would be pretty cool. Or like a space region, alien region. Oh my god, insane, right? So that is gonna be my future outlook for Genshin Impact. And one last thing before we kind of wrap everything up. The comparison of Genshin Impact with other gacha games in 2024. Stay tuned to the next video where I will give that take, right? Where I'll give that take. Okay, that's gonna be that. Alrighty, so let's come to the summary of this very long-winded talk. If you don't like playing Genshin Impact, for whatever reasons it may be, the grind, the lack of endgame, Paimon's annoying-ass fucking voice, no abobas, you can't look up a card, whatever reason it may be, I think it is not that deep to just take a step back and not play the game. The time you have when it comes to your entertainment time is always limited. You're working a job, you're studying, life. There's only that much time you have that you can allocate and truly enjoy something before you have to go back out in the road again. And if Genshin Impact is not the game that provides this enjoyment value for you, even if it gave you a lot of enjoyment for the past 3.5 years, through COVID, through everything, I think it's perfectly okay to let go. There's no point hating a game for something that's already over, but smile because the game happened. I swear this music is not scripted, by the way. I swear this music is not scripted. That was a crazy cinema music. That is pretty much it, in my opinion. I really, really like the game. So far, I like this game. I'm not saying that this game has no flaws. The yapping, the resource, I've mentioned it already. The end content, is it too easy, too hard? Up to you to decide. But overall, the grand scheme of things, because my focus for Genshin Impact is not about these things, right? Like my purpose of playing Genshin Impact is not for the end content. It is for the story and the lore building. And at least, hang out with my chat on stream, all that kind of stuff, right? So when it comes to like my main ticks, the criterias, they do tick the boxes. So yes, I really enjoy playing Genshin Impact. And with that, we've come to the end of today's content. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. The word of the day is going to be life. L-I-F-E. So if you watch the end of the video, feel free to comment live in the comment section. Join Discord, join Twitch, join YouTube if you like. And yeah, all the best for your Emily pools, all the best for Nellen pools. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care.